Beyond the Waves is a Hail Media production. It may contain sweary words, and adult situations may be discussed. If you're in the company of underage temps, turn off the show now and listen back later. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, email us at beyondthewaves67@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter at BTW Celtic Show, or you can join our group on Facebook at Beyond the Waves. Hail, hail, and keep the faith. Welcome to the Beyond the Waves Celtic Football Show. My name is Graham Wilson. Yes, that is me. I'm back for tonight only. But I'm excited to be here. I hope you missed me because I missed you. And we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. You know, several months ago when we stopped the regular weekly broadcasts of this show, I mentioned that, you know, there were going to come times when there would be a particular topic that would be compelling, and there would be times when I'd have more time available. Obviously, time is a precious commodity for me these days, given the fact that I've got a 7-week-old. Well, I guess it's an 8-week-old at this point, and he's not getting any smaller. But it's been just a fantastic 2 months since he's been born, and wouldn't trade it for absolutely anything. It's a life-changing thing. And before I wax too poetic about that, I have missed doing the show. And, you know, I had a bit of an opportunity tonight, which coincides with an opportunity to discuss something that's relevant and something that I think is going to provide a great listening experience. I have the great privilege and pleasure to welcome back to the show tonight a guy who was a listener of the show and became just a huge, massive influence on the show and a massive presence on the show, you know, becoming a panelist and a major contributor to the show. This is a guy that's had a massive presence amongst social media over the past several years, and his passionate support of Celtic and of many of the social causes that Celtic represents, and engaging with fellow Celtic supporters in a manner which is consistent with, you know, what you'd expect from a Celtic supporter. The guy is an absolute, just a gem of a person, and just defines what it means to be a Celtic supporter, and is extremely entertaining in his own right. On top of all that, the man I'm talking about is, of course, Yampy. How are you, sir?
Not too bad, motherfucker. What's up, brother? How you been?
I've been fantastic. You know, as I mentioned, I'm just having a lot of fun with my son, and you know, I just still, you know, I still have these opinions. I still have these rants going on in my head, and I've been a bit more reserved on Twitter and social media recently, but this is going to be a good opportunity for both of us really to let loose a little bit, catch up. I know we've talked amongst you and I, where we kind of miss our chats and we miss, the opportunity to do just this. So I'm really looking forward to the opportunity, and I'm really glad to have you on tonight.
Oh, thanks, brother. Me too, man. It's been way too long, man. I'm locked in tonight, ready to roll. You want to talk about anything? I'm on board. I've had about 32 fucking Monster Energy drinks tonight, and if I had to, I'd just take a leak in the can. I'm not leaving this chair till we're all fucking done.
Just as advertised, ladies and gentlemen, exactly what I promised, and he does deliver every single time. He does not disappoint.
I am hyped, bro. It's been way too long, man. Way too long.
Fantastic. Well, this is good stuff. I mean, Yumpy, now, for those that are listening in who may not be familiar with yourself, and this is Yumpy. I mean, if you're not familiar with Yumpy, get with the program, first off. Find him on Twitter at YAHMPY. Just a well worth a follow on Twitter and Facebook for that matter. But Yumpy, for those who are familiar with you, and you have a following, and for a very good reason, we've gotten to know you over these past few years, like I said in the opening. But what we haven't sort of heard is your background. Like, where does this come from? Where does this passion for Celtic? I mean, listen, we're both Philly guys, right? And you don't need to be from Philadelphia to be able to read somebody, to know that somebody's not a poser, as we like to say, or a faker. Somebody's legit, somebody's sincere. But Philly people, we can spot these people from, we can spot a fake, Fugazi from across the street.
Fugazi,
exactly.
Man.
And
Fugazi.
What is so compelling about you is within 5 seconds of listening to you and the passion that you exhibit, and you just know that you're speaking from the heart. How did this all come out? Tell us about your background, and specifically, I know that you've referenced your family as being a key component in, shaping the person that you are, and why you support Celtic and all that. Who are the main influences in your family? Give us a sense for what your development and your upbringing was like.
I was born in South Philly.
2 Street, right?
Yeah, right off 2 Street on Moy-Mensing Ave. I still have family up a couple blocks away around Wolf Street. Moved to South Jersey after I got, had a lot of shit I went through when I was younger. My parents wanted to get, my whole family out of the city because it's tough, man. Yeah. Anybody that grows up, you got the row houses and everything. That there's no glitz and glamour with growing up in in the city.
Well, South Philly in the '80s as well, right? There was a bit of that was an interesting time for that particular area, wasn't it?
It was tough. I mean, you talk about 70s and the 80s. I have family down. My grandfather was a longshoreman. He used to work in the tap room after work, just trying to make ends meet. He had 2 jobs. My uncle was a longshoreman. My cousins all, they went to Catholic schools in the city and everything. And my parents just wanted to get us out of the city. It's a tough environment, man. People don't fuck around. Everybody's, you have people literally up your ass next door to you and everything, and it's tough. So they moved to South Jersey and everything. It's right across the bridge, about 15 minutes away. And they just wanted to give us a chance to, be able to go outside and see green fucking grass and everything. And it was cool. We get a lot of people that moved out of South Philly for the same reasons. My dad was my biggest influence in my life. I love my mom to bits. And as people might know, she's going through a lot of issues. She's dealing with end-stage Alzheimer's, and it's tough because she's not the woman she used to be. She used to be tough, man. She worked hard. She worked for a company at a time where it was very conservative, very male-dominated. Mm-hmm. And she cut a path for herself. She did really well. But my dad was my main influence. He used to come out to all my games and stuff, sporting events. I was a goalie in soccer and all that, and he'd always be like, good, bad, or indifferent. He always had my back. And I tended to love the things that he loved. And one of the things that was big to him was, the whole dealing with Ireland and republicanism and Bobby Sands and all that. And
so he had a big awareness of what was going on over there.
Oh, tremendous awareness. It was incredibly important to him. As I said, we have family that still resides over in Ireland in Cavan. And my aunt's from Cavan, and she lives up in the Bronx. Ironically, not too far from our buddy the Bronx boy.
Oh, the 33rd county.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I was over there before with my folks and everything, and we had the time of our lives. We drove all over Ireland and the north and everything, and it was a good time. And it's one of those things that as your parents get older and everything, that's something that you'll have to carry with you for the rest of your life. I'll never be able to, all the money in the world couldn't buy me a moment like that, and that was special to me. My father was always there for me, and that was special to him, and it was special to me. And when he was passing away, one of the last big things that I got to show him and everything, just a couple days before he died, before the father came in there to give him I forget the
last
he didn't
rites.
want to get his last rites. They give it like a right of the dying or whatever it is.
Right, yeah.
And I brought my father the 125 scarf, the one that was from Timland and everything.
Wow.
And my dad gave me a thumbs up, and I put it up across from his bed and everything.
Wow.
And that was the whole story I had told you about before, where father was like, well, he saw the big crosses on there, and he's like, well, what's that about? And I said, well, let me tell you the story about Brother Walford and this wonderful club in Glasgow. And father was just absolutely captivated, and my dad passed away a couple of days later. And, I don't want to get on a downer note and everything, but my dad was special to me.
Yeah.
He was my best friend.
Yeah, I get that, and I mean the story that you tell is one that I think is something that so many people can identify with, especially in Glasgow. I mean, when I went over to Glasgow, especially the first time, the immediate question I got asked was, "What do you think of Glasgow?" And my first impression, especially driving in from the airport into the city center over the Erskine Bridge, was, I mean, it's so much reminded me of Philadelphia. Just the cityscape and, the tone of the city. You know how it is. I mean, you drive over the bridge into Philly and you get like an electricity or just sort of like a vibe, from as you're entering the city. It has a character, it has a soul to it.
Big silhouette of the buildings and shit and everything.
Exactly.
And it's just like, you get that little fucking jump, like you're ready, like, all right, man, this is going to be good. City's always got something for you,
But you know what the thing is, though? You get this vibe and you get this glow, like you're talking about, and it's not because, I mean, the buildings set this facade out there, and it's like just this landscape, where, I mean, it's so much visual input to take in, but that energy, that vibe that you get is from the people. It's from the people of the city that you're familiar with. You grew up in South Philly, and your dad and your parents and your family, they're all Philly people, and you get that same energy, when you go back into Philly. And it was the same feeling that I got, growing up in Philly. I was familiar with that, and it's the same feeling I got as I entered into Glasgow. You get a sense that there's a character amongst the people that, it has this power, and I think that the story that you told about, your relationship with your father and, your upbringing in South Philly, with it being a rough place, it's a very direct place. I mean, you got to be a straight up kind of person, in order to be able to just survive in South Philly, and the working class, sort of mentality. I mean, the mentality that takes pride in an honest day's work. I mean, my grandfather worked the docks as well. I mean, it's something that I think is so familiar with Glasgow as well. And what you'll find when you go to Glasgow, I promise you, I mean, just how eerily similar Glasgow is to Philadelphia, and how the people of Glasgow are so similar to the people of Philadelphia.
Well, the vibe I get, and I've met a lot of Tims from Glasgow and everything, from, hanging up at Plow and everything with the boys and everything, and just going up to the Bronx and all that with Chaz and all his friends and all that. It's like the vibe I always get, whenever I talk to Tims, especially the ones from, Scotland and everything, is that we have that commonality.
Yeah.
There was one sports writer that once said about Philly and the Philly fans and how they connect to professional athletes. He said, Philly fans, they don't like ballet dancers. They like ditch diggers. You want someone that's going to go out there and put in an honest day's fucking work, and if they're not going to do that, you're calling them on it.
Right, exactly.
You like that reality. You like that there's no bullshit. You're not going to put a veil up on someone's face because if someone didn't fucking do their job or someone half-assed it, people are going to hold them accountable. And that's the thing I dig about, my fellow Tims over in Scotland and everything. Is like they don't fuck around, man.
Well, and the thing is, people take such pride